Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Living Room Community Art Studios Show and Tell Tuesday, right here on Instagram. Why, hello. Oh, fantastic. Hello, everybody. Oh, this is amazing. Today, I'm super, super excited to be welcoming someone who is a friend of mine. But beyond that, is just such an extraordinarily gifted human being in all the ways. The fabulous, the one and only Lori Nancy Kalamanski. I was trying to describe her. Okay, here's the thing. I was trying to figure out, how do I describe who Lori Nancy is, what she does. There are so many things that Lori Nancy does and does well, really, really well. So I'm going to hold off on that description and let Lori Nancy do it herself. So without further ado, let me introduce Lori Nancy Kalamanski. And let's see. I want to pull back. Now we're just waiting for Lori Nancy Kalamanski. Hello, folks. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi.
Hello, Lori Nancy Kalamanski. How are you?
Hello, and hello, everybody out there. What an intro. I'm flattered.
Well, I was thinking, I was like artist, actor, musician, singer-songwriter, poet, maker, clown artist, puppeteer. I could go on and on and on. So why don't I let you, how do you describe yourself when you're introducing yourself to people?
Well, thank you. I guess I would call myself an artist. The last couple of years a musician and an educator, which is a new role for me in the last year as well.
I forgot about that one. And most recently, I know you might have a few fans tuning in. Most recently, you've been keeping busy with, you were working in the fabulous Come From Away.
Yeah, for folks who might not know, Come From Away is a musical that was very popular, and it's opened all over the world now, but I was really fortunate to be part of the Toronto company up until we took a little pause.
Up until I think all theater everywhere around the world took a pause. Yeah, you're not alone there. It's been such a strange time, but you're not letting this stop you from creating as well, because now you've just kind of transitioned and are working every week, 3 days a week with Sing Along Tim. Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know if I can call it working. It's definitely play. So basically, I've been in a band for kids. We make interactive folk rock for families. And we've been doing that for the last maybe 10 years. And it might be. Yeah, and when we heard that, kids were going to be out of school and out of daycares indefinitely, we thought, well, let's create some programming and how can we do that? So Sing Along Tim Machin, he's also a fabulous, talented artist and musician himself.
Yeah.
He and we broadcast a show 3 times a week live from our living rooms via Facebook. And that's at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And I will be sharing the links to that page along with the dates and times you perform after this. Is that okay?
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, if anyone's interested, you can just look up Sing Along Tim here on Instagram or over on Facebook.
And not just for kids, because I've watched it a couple of times.
I'm going to pause you there. Not only does Mary watch it and support us, she was a special guest. And I have to show you. She showed us how to make these amazing hats, which I just adore. So yeah, I might just keep it on for a little bit.
Thinking that I dare you. It's lovely. You rock that look so very well.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say hello to everyone who's joining us. Thank you for tuning in and watching if you're live or if you're coming in later on. It's really nice to have you here.
Oh, look at you. That's so fabulous. So, okay. All right. I do love that hat. You don't have to wear it for the whole time though. I'll share that. I think you can go back and rewatch the Sing Along Tims if people have missed them, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. Everything is saved on the Facebook page, and we also have a YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch anytime. Tomorrow, I think, is our 25th show. This is our 9th week of doing shows. So there's lots to watch. And last weekend, even, we did a concert for Sick Kids Hospital remotely. And that was a blast. So we're kind of reaching out to other facilities to see if they might need some entertainment too.
That's great. So Oshawa, if you're out there, if anyone's listening from our part of the woods, I was going to say our neck of the woods, however that phrase goes, you can reach out to Sing Along Tin to see if they can do a show for you too.
How are you today, Mary?
I'm okay. I'm okay. As you can see behind us, we're beginning to prepare our new studio space, having some fun with it, getting colorful, filling it with some stuff. But you know what? Here's the thing. It's an interesting day because around the world, at least in North America and Europe and the UK, it feels like people are beginning to get ready to move things back, to, bring things back online, to get people back to work, to open up things again, like opening up Ontario. And to be honest, there's a little bit of anxiety that I feel along with that because I'm not quite sure what that means. And I'm still not quite sure what that means for artists, because I think for anyone involved in the arts or education for that matter, it involves being close to people or having a more intimate kind of audience relationship with people. And I'm not sure if people understand that. So I think you're someone who could really, really speak to this. And perhaps, again, for folks who are maybe watching who aren't familiar with what it's like to be an actor, perhaps you can take us through a day in the life of what it was like for you.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I was incredibly privileged to be part of the Come From Away cast when COVID-19 hit. So what that meant for me was we had 8 shows a week. So we worked every day except for Mondays. And I was at the theater for all of those performances. I was in a special role called a standby. And that means that I'm standing by waiting. If any of the lead actors can't perform a show, then I'm called upon to do it.
So how many roles do you have to know?
So there's 6 ladies in the show and I know 4 of their parts. And I go on all the time. I've been on over 60 times in the last year, but all of that.
Okay.
Now, but so that's what kind of looked like for me. I had Mondays off, but I was always at the theater. And then as the pandemic started happening, people were starting to be a bit nervous about coming out to the theater and sitting next to someone in an audience, understandably so. So it was a really strange climate there in the last week. And then one morning we just got the call, don't come in today. So myself and like pretty much every other actor in the world, we had to take a pause. A lot of us lost our jobs, or, some people had projects that were coming up that they were really excited about, and those aren't happening now. So yeah, it's been a real adjustment. I do acknowledge my privilege and everything that I have going on in my life because I have so much to be grateful for. But it has been an adjustment as an artist to just have to stop. Yeah. So I'm excited by the creative ways that people like yourself, Mary, and the living room, ways that you're finding to still make your art.
Well, it got me thinking about, again, theater. I don't know about you, but there's not many times as an actor where I sit home and do a monologue for nobody. And Anthony can only take so much of my performance, to tell you, partner Anthony. But I am really excited by people bringing theater and to Zoom and things like that, and having invited audiences come, like, for a pay what you can fee or for charity or what have you, to tune into a special page or on YouTube to watch live performances. It's an entirely different kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think side of that too, like it's been such a difficult time for so many people. I think it's important to acknowledge too that you don't have to make anything if you don't feel like it, that it's okay to take this time and just be. It's easier said than done for myself, but
how have you been coping? What have you been doing?
Well, these shows 3 times a week. I'm also, I play ukulele and I'm doing a teacher training certification. So I'm actually composing and arranging a few tunes for my end of year evaluation. Convergence Theatre, which is a fabulous indie theatre company in Toronto, they do kind of site specific performances.
Yeah.
They put together something called COVID commissions, where people could make works of art, anything you wanted, any medium, out of anonymous messages that the public left about how they were feeling about COVID-19. So I jumped on board for that and created a little composition about that based on someone's voice message.
That's amazing.
I've been doing.
Have you been anything?
Those?
What was that?
I've been watching living room programming because it's fabulous.
You. We've been having lots of fun connecting with people because I think that's the one piece. I mean, we can connect with friends or family through various ways, but the idea of community, I think, has shifted with everything that's happened, and it may be shifted for a little while longer. So just exploring to see, well, what works, what doesn't work, what's like reducing as many barriers as possible to people connecting or being able to feel connected online is one thing we've been exploring. And we're exploring other measures too. As soon as we can get back, connecting with people in person, we're going to be looking at how we can do that safely, as I'm sure everyone is, right? But yeah, there's other things too. I mean, have you been doing anything for yourself creatively to help you get by? Are there any things that you normally draw upon to help you get through?
What are my go-tos? I really like listening to music, and I've been enjoying discovering new music during this time. So I'll go out for walks or for a bike ride because I find getting out into nature just is a salve for me. It just makes me feel so much better. So that's been fun. Of course, we're making lots of new music on the show, which is a unique challenge for me because I'm one of those people who likes to try and get everything right away. And it's throwing me out of my comfort zone and creating things on the fly. And, we have fun instruments like slide whistles and kazoos. I have to punctuate myself every now and again with a xylophone.
Oh,
so that brings a lot of joy.
I love that. Do you do that during like all your meetings? Like you might be having an official Zoom meeting and then just reach out and just ring.
Excuse me. Question.
I love that so much.
Yeah, me too.
Whatever happens after this period, please keep doing that. And
yeah. I'm just gonna follow it around and be like, excuse me, can you move ahead? It's TBC. Gotta get on the subway. Yeah. I can guarantee you I'll probably have a seat to myself.
Well, there's one of the things I love about Sing Along Tim and the work you do at Sing Along Tim, because I really do believe it's not just for kids. The songs are smart and funny, and how, at least watching these two, like you and Tim, how you perform together with the tools that you have, it's so engaging and so much fun to watch, even, as a grown-up. I love it so much. It's so entertaining, so funny.
Thank you. Well, 9 weeks in, we've really got kind of a variety show kind of style where we do music, but we also like to, bring on special guests for crafts, and we have some quiz questions. And so we've got a good little format going.
I love it so much. Oh
Thank you. I'm very grateful to Tim that he'll do it with me.
Yeah, there are so many amazingly talented people out there. I'm looking forward to having everyone on an Instagram chat because I think, I don't know, this is entirely selfish in me. I've been enjoying having opportunities to talk with people and learn about their day-to-day, because I think we make a lot of assumptions about what other artists do, and we don't always realize how much goes into what they do. Like learning 4 parts. I can manage 1 part when I'm lucky, and that's for a small show in like a black box theater. 4 parts for a major musical. What was that like?
Well, I have to tell you that for every day for about 4 months, I felt like I was going to throw up. But I'll show you my trick. If you can hang on 1 second.
Sure. I'll just,
You just can't see me. Okay.
I'll vamp.
So somebody shared a trick with me.
Okay.
And that was to create these cue cards. And basically, I write down everything I say, everywhere I go, for the whole show for 1 character. There's It's a busy show.
That's amazing.
And I've got four. So I just would study them every day. And I had my own system for keeping them fresh. And that helped calm me down and organize my brain.
Wow. That's amazing. I think just seeing those cue cards for one character.
Crazy.
So much work goes into it. And once you like, was there a place where you found yourself that you were comfortable, where you could sort of relax a bit? Oh,
yeah, just starting to happen when we stopped.
Oh, and look, so you're getting a lot of love right now. So yeah, incredible at all four of them. Yes. Okay. So there's
that is, my good friend Amir, also one of the male standbys. He actually learned five because he's actually been with the show for almost 3 years.
Wow.
And after a year and a bit, some casting got shifted and they moved him into a new role, and he learned a fifth role. Blows my mind.
It's astonishing, and being ready, like not knowing which character you might have to go on for every day. So that means each character is alive and fresh. Everything about them, their choreography, the music, the nuances of their story and portraying.
Each is a different vocal part too, so you've got to keep that separate. So there's a lot. It's a really unique job, and I think it's really improved my brain synapses.
I think so. Way back in theater school, when they talked about paying your dues, I think if that's not it, I don't know what is.
Just looking at the chat, and I can see that Joel Goldie's the dialect coach. He has signed in. Hi, Joel. Joel is the head cheese dialect coach for most of the productions in the world of Come From Away. And he's the one, for folks out there who maybe don't know the story, it's about kind of the days after 9/11, 9/12 and beyond, when these terrible events happened and all of these planes had to land because the airspace was closed. So it's about when they landed in Gander, Newfoundland in Canada, and how the community took them in. And it's this beautiful story of giving and sharing. And so all of that to say that Joel helped all of us learn these accents. And I'm still working on him, Joel. I'm doing my best. But he's a very talented man.
I think there's a lot of love coming your way from these folks now. So I think it's recognized. Yes.
You can't do it alone. It's definitely a village helping out the standbys.
That's it. And during this time too, the whole, I don't want to call it a machine because it's alive. It is very much alive. If anyone out there who's ever had a chance to be a part of something theatrical, there is that. It's not just the people on stage. Of course, it's everything and everyone behind the scenes who makes something like this come alive. And at a level like this, at a size like this, it's got to be hundreds of people. Is that?
Yeah, tons of people. I mean, there's all of the behind the scenes folks as well. There's, costuming and sets and all the beautiful, talented musicians who do join us on stage as well.
Wow.
And music director, stage manager, front of house, the theater. It's a huge family, and I miss them.
It's got to be hard to go from like being so involved, immersed in this experience to not.
Yeah, it is. I snuck in the other day. I had to pick some things up from the dressing room because when we stopped, we literally just stopped.
Wow.
And so we're allowed to go back in and pick up a few things, but everything is just sitting there waiting for us. I thought I was going to be really sad, but I was actually kind of comforted. I walked in and got what I needed from the dressing room, and I peeked out on the stage, and they had what they call a ghost light. And in theater, that's a light that's traditionally put on the stage to light it when no one's around. I think it has safety implications, so nobody falls off the stage. But it's also, there's lore that it's to, keep the ghosts alive or at bay, whichever way you want to look at it. But the theater looked so beautiful. We performed the show at a theater called the Royal Alex, and there's 3 levels of these beautiful red velvet seats. And all the chairs are set as a bunch of chairs and tables, and they were all sitting waiting to go. All the sets and props were on the side in the wings, we call them, ready to go. So we could literally, if we got the all clear, we could just walk in there and do it.
I'm feeling a little emotional now hearing all of this.
That's beautiful.
And it gives me hope And I'm going to choose to look at it metaphorically, not just as a safety measure. I'm going to choose to look at it as a sign of resilience and a sign of hope, that this is just a pause. And
Yeah.
until we can find ways to come back and create together. And
One thing we've really noticed, with everybody having to stop and just find things to do is people are turning to the arts. We all turn on our Netflix. We all pick up a book or listen to some music or make things like you are, the beautiful work you're doing there. So I don't know, it's further validating that what artists do is really important, and it can be healing.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. And I'm hoping that everyone does come out of this, people who aren't necessarily involved in the creation of arts, that people who are appreciators, because I think being an appreciator or an audience is a creative endeavor as well, I think. I don't know if, like, particularly when it comes to live experiences.
I'm laughing because you're getting a beautiful compliment from Ali Rose. Mary, you look amazing. I'm going to give some hearts.
I weep as
Thanks to everybody who's joined in today.
I think
today is brought to you by the letter A.
Oh, this is
I'll be wondering why I have an A. This is made by my best friend Karina Bergmans, and she's a visual artist, and she makes all kinds of fun things. But anyhow,
it is amazing, and she recently just had an exhibit somewhere, didn't she? Over the holidays-ish, around wintry times.
Yeah, she was out in Estevan, Saskatchewan, I believe, if I'm saying it right. She does amazing installation work with found objects and textile art. So I think of you, and I think of the living room and all the creative things that people are making there. You just never know what you might do with it or where it might grow.
We'll see. We'll see. I might have to connect with her to see if she wants to chat as well. Yeah.
I will leave that between the two of you.
Because who knows, the studio, like many other creative spaces, is sitting dormant right now as well. Yeah.
Well, Karina I'm really proud of her. She works at the National Gallery in Ottawa as an art technician. So when she's outside of her art practice, she helps kind of install all the paintings. If you're looking at the wall and you're like, oh, that's a Picasso, she put that up or took it down or moved it around. So her job has been impacted too, because no one's visiting those spaces right now.
The virtual tours have been really interesting. Have there been any virtual tours of theaters?
That's a great question. Maybe someone out there in the chat can let us know. I'm not familiar with them. I know there's been some great free programming, like the National Theatre in the UK has been showing live performances. There's something new every week, and it's fabulous.
That is true. Now, okay, before we get talking about all sorts of other, bring it back.
I know.
No. I could talk about art with you all day long, and we've only got an hour here before they bump us off. So not bump us off, like Instagram's not gonna kill us, but they do only let us have an hour at a time. Please keep punctuating, Lori Nancy. I love it very much. Are you, outside of like Sing Along Tim and I'm sure Come From Away When the Theater is Dark and Waiting, yes, I do agree. Someone should do a virtual tour of the Winter Garden. Yep.
The stories about those spaces are amazing.
You could do, wait, we should come back to this. You could have a map where people could like sort of say, add their own stories to different parts of the theater. Audiences could be engaged as well, because special moments happen in theaters for audiences all the time as well.
Absolutely.
Whether it's being a performance or that time, I don't know. Other things happen too, I'm assuming. Okay.
Yeah.
Lori Nancy. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, lots of people work there. So, okay, guys, figure it out.
City works at the Winter Garden and the Elgin. So yes. I don't know if they want me to say their name, but they are an amazing person, very clever, creative artists themselves.
We are turning it over to you then, for folks who are connected, who have that in, and not just folks who sneak into the theater to pick things up from time to time. That would be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing to see theater right now, and to have a more intimate kind of exploration of it. That would be amazing.
That's a great schedule. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay, back to you. What was I going to say? What was I going to say? Working on things. Yes. So the theater is dormant. I imagine there's a part of you that is still holding on or waiting or preparing because there hasn't really been closure for anyone. And we don't know what will be in the next little while or long while. What do you do to keep up your chops as an actor or a performer when you're not actively engaged in a project?
Yeah, well, I can't speak for the other standbys, but I don't know. It was hard for me to learn all these parts. So I admit I still review, even though we might not be back until next year. But for the time being, part of my weekly practice is to review some of the roles. And I try to keep singing. I know I've told you this, Mary, but I'll share it with your viewers that I don't want to drive my neighbors crazy because I live in a semi-detached. So I will go out in the car and I find a school parking lot and I sing at the top of my lungs and play my ukulele. And more often than not, I'm not the only one in the parking lot. So who knows? There could be a whole bunch of us out there making music and art.
So each of you was in your own cars making the music or doing whatever you're doing. Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing, but there are other folks out there too.
I love that. I love it.
There's a man who lives on the street, one street over from me, and I've seen him twice now. I think he goes to his car, just parked on the street, to just have a moment to himself. And he rocks out. He cranks the music, and he shoots the seat back, and he just rocks out and listens. It's really I'm like, you do what you got to do.
Well, that's it exactly. And some of us, I think, if we're a little bit lucky, if we have a house, right? That's another privilege as well, having a place to quarantine too. If you have a little space where you can, get away from others in your life just for that me time. If you don't, though, or if you live in a bigger city like Toronto, you're, squished together. You've got to, whatever works, whatever helps you get through this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I
love all the programming that you're offering, Mary.
Oh.
And everybody out there, let's give Mary some hearts and Anthony and everyone at the living room, because it's really pretty special what you're providing for people almost every day of the week.
Well, I think there's a part of it that by providing this, by staying connected, or I'm just a really stubborn person also. That's a large part of this. I refuse to give up. I don't feel comfortable sitting still. And I think a lot of artists are the same. Whatever kind of art you practice, whatever medium you use, whatever tools you use, I think we don't do well with boredom, or boredom leads to creation. So there's a kind of natural restlessness that comes that sometimes helps us get to the next place. So I'm not going to sit and do nothing. Anyone who is out there complaining of being bored during this time, I just wonder, what are they doing?
Well, clearly they're not baking bread, because I hopped on that train, and I will just tell you that, I have some skills at certain things, but bread making is really not one of them. I'm terrible.
Now, I will gently challenge this. I follow your Instagram, and I've seen some of those pictures, and I don't know what they taste like, but
there were like 16 other loaves that didn't make the cut.
I think artists, we do things, whether it's baking bread, whether it's going out in our cars and singing or playing the ukulele, again, we don't have to create. And I think that's such an important part. Like, we can be using this time, which is not a normal time, for our own healing, our own growth, or just to we'll do whatever you need to do to cope and keep yourself feeling healthy, feeling grounded.
Yeah, I really that. I think there's a lot of pressure out there because there is so much content being created by other artists. There's a little bit of pressure to, get yourself out there and be on this show and all this kind of stuff. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that it's okay to not do any of those things. Yeah. We're all going through kind of a grief reaction, and it's day to day, really. And if you need to if you have that privilege to be in a bed and just hide under the covers and read a book for the day, then you do that.
Yeah. And just to remember, everyone who's out there watching, I'm not the boss of you, but remember that, right? It's, for me, this time has reminded me that there's a difference between being an artist and a product. And I think, well, it's easy within any of us who are in, like, for Canadians especially, I think, because it's such a hustle. It's so hand to mouth. And I know we're creating anyways, because artists, do things. We just do. We do it when nobody's watching, right? We don't necessarily need people to create.
Yeah.
It is easy to think if we're not productive and if we are not out there, that we are not of value, that somehow we've lost something of ourselves. And I,
Yeah. Last night I did a ridiculous thing that I'm still reprimanding myself for, but I have this bad habit of flipping through my phone when it's time to go to sleep. And then I start comparing myself to all these other artists who are out there, other people. And I don't think it matters if you're an artist or whatever industry you're in, or even just yourself and comparing yourself to family members and friends. And I just think I have to remember this mantra that, you know, other people's success does not mean that you're a failure. And to turn my phone off and not look at it before I go to bed. It made me so nervous about today. I was like, oh my goodness, who am I to say anything to anybody? Who's going to care anything about what I have to say, or who's going to tune in? And it's really ridiculous. I'm just grateful for this time and this space with all of you. And yeah, I'm rambling.
I know, ramble away. I love it. And oh yeah, and we have some affirmations there from doodledonuts.co. Afra, yeah, it's true, right? Like someone else's success, that we are a failure. And I always try to remember that there's someone else who's looking at us as the success that we don't recognize in ourselves in that moment.
Yeah, that's huge.
Just being here, just creating, making our voices heard is a success in my mind for so many. You know, that takes so much courage. It takes so much to get to that point where you can make your mark. And I don't know, I just want to thank you. What?
Sorry, I cut you off. I said, it takes a lot of courage to put on pants for the day, you know?
That is true. It is true. It is very true. I'm not going to ask you. No, we've seen you stand up. You're wearing pants. It's all good.
Oh, good. I got pants. Yeah. They don't match my outfit, but I'm wearing them.
If anyone else has any other questions for Lori Nancy, you want to shout them out right now, or you can send them to me and I will share them after this chat as well. We've talked about a whole bunch of stuff here. Is there anything that you would like to say, or anything you want to, any shout outs you want to make before the end of our little chat here today?
Well, obviously to you, Mary, and I've said it earlier, but I really think what you're doing to connect with community is really important. And I was watching the other day, and I think I already said this to you, but I'm going to share it with the audience. You know, Mary has this beautiful ability of making everyone feel welcome and acknowledged. And she even has a way of welcoming people who aren't interacting. So maybe you're not typing in the chat, or maybe you haven't waved that you're here, but just to know that, you know, you are acknowledged if you want to participate or not. And you can make art as much or as little as you want. Just find what's getting you through the day.
That's beautiful, Lori Nancy. Well said. Thank you. And I like this comment here that I'm seeing too, being able to remind ourselves that we deserve to be here as much as anyone else does. So thank you. Living for the city. I'm not sure what your name is, but I appreciate that you live for the city. And yeah, I think each one of us has a journey with this, making space for ourselves in our own lives, making space for one another. Yeah. I will also, you complimented me in there. So I am going to practice like receiving the compliment. Thank you.
For those of you who don't know what Mary's doing, this is something that our friend Claire taught us, that it's a lesson that I learned a couple of years ago, that someone gave me a compliment after a show, and the first thing I did was discount it and say everything that I thought I did wrong. And they actually got angry with me, and they said, you know, I was giving you a gift to thank you. And I took a moment back and I was like, you know, you're right. Like, someone's reaching out and offering you something. And when you don't accept it, it's kind of like saying, well, you don't count. So Claire, to add to this, told us that we should just say thank you. Relax your face, relax it all, let it go, and just say thank you.
Thank you. Well, Lori Nancy, thank you for being here with us today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to be with us, or your not busy day, whatever it is. Again, who am I to judge? Thank you to everyone else who is watching and listening to this lovely little chat. Yeah, I do. I appreciate you every moment of my life. I'm so glad you're a part of my life. I want to take this moment to send out love to all the other actors and performers who are out there as well. All the other people a part of that mad little world that help make magical moments happen when people come together.
Thank you. And we can't wait to see you in the theater again someday, or in whatever space will be created, the next steps.
Let's see. Well, I was wondering if there's a way to do play readings through Zoom for the living room, to get some community members involved who are characters all on their own.
Yeah, I think folks have already been doing that. So I don't know how they're making it public, but yeah, the wheels are turning on that.
All right. I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Lori Nancy, for joining. See you later.
Bye.
And I'll go boop, boop. There we go. So thank you so much to Lori Nancy Kalamanski for joining us today. Thank you for everyone else for joining us and being a part of our chat. If you're looking for more, tomorrow, every Wednesday, over on Facebook, we have a live stream pop-up art studio, kind of just a hangout where you can come and make art with us, not make art, listen, have us on in the background while you clean or fold your laundry, whatever works for you. Just a nice, supportive, creative community to hang out with for a little bit. I'll remember to attach Lori Nancy's, all her details about where you can find her for Sing Along Tim on the Facebook page after this. And if you do have any questions for her about the work she does, any of the wonderful things she was talking about, please let me know. And yeah, thanks again for being here. And until we can connect and create again with one another in person, I look forward to connecting and creating with you here, right here, online. Thanks, everybody. Bye.